24-17 in Norman, Oklahoma. We react to their first loss of the year on this live edition of the Uptempo podcast.
You are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
Let's go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Uptempo podcast, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Like we always do, baby. My guy, Nick Frazier, in the building. This one, Nick, it's our first one of these of the year. So I would be lying, though, if I said I wasn't looking forward to it. I don't look forward to the fact that we have to discuss a loss, but I do have a lot to say. Okay. I was on C5's live stream for a little bit during the game. I shared my thoughts on the War Report post game. So I just want to say this to kind of set the table here, and then I'm going to pass it to you and get your initial reaction. Just going to read off something I posted on X this morning. This is kind of the foundation for my feelings today. Let's not overcomplicate this. Multiple things can be true at the same time. Auburn was undisciplined and shot themselves in the foot all game long. That has been a constant in big games with Hugh Freeze as head coach. The refs also screwed Auburn with several incorrect game-changing calls. What say you?
Yeah, I agree. It's easy to make the narrative of this game, bad officiating. I was on Twitter as well, and I saw a couple of Oklahoma fans say, "Oh, it was bad officiating all the way around." Missed calls on both sides of the ball for both teams. Okay, fine. That happens in all games. But when you look at missed calls that take points off the board for teams, that's game changing. And as you can see in this game, that game changed in favor of Oklahoma. But to the point that you made about, which I find interesting, which I think needs to be more of the narrative in this game and going into this week, the shooting ourselves in the foot in big games with Coach Hugh Freeze as the coach. Because to your point, even though that overturned fumble for a touchdown was overturned, even though the illegal play, which I'm pretty sure we're going to get into later on about what the SEC put out, even though that was an illegal play, and the SEC officiating came out and said it should have been a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
Our bad.
Yeah, our bad. Like I said last night on my live stream, I said that's just like a doctor telling me, "Hey, I forgot to take something out after I already sewed you up after doing surgery." Like, come on, that don't make any sense. Auburn was still in this game, and they were still within striking distance, and this game was tied up most of the time to where Auburn still could have done something to make a play and win this game. There were at least 3 deep balls that we can all sit here and see and be like, come on, we got to connect on that. If we connect on that, Auburn's up 24-10 easily. So, I mean, yeah, I agree with you. Big game. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, it is, and I don't want to start this narrative just because it's a loss, but there is enough information for over the past 2 seasons and 3 games right now, two seasons and 4 games right now, for us to say, is the coaching staff the right coaching staff to give us, as the Huggy Beard would say, that dog mentality that can help us win games? I think that needs to be a conversation that we have.
Yeah, this I definitely plan on doing an episode this week discussing about how this next 3-game stretch is super important for the future of Hugh Freeze. So look, and I'm not hitting the panic button after one loss. There's nothing that I saw yesterday that really changes my opinion of, like, I still think Auburn can go 8-4. I predicted 7-5 before the season. I still see 8-4, and I'm going to stand by what I said all summer long. If you just win I said all summer, if you beat Baylor and then you win one of those 3 games in that stretch of at Oklahoma, at A&M, and at Georgia, that gets you to 4-2 to the halfway point. Now, it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be. Vanderbilt's way better than I thought. Okay. And I knew Mizzou was going to be good. Like maybe they're a little better than I thought, but I was saying, hey, I think I voted them to finish like 6th or 7th in the SEC at media days. I gave them 8 or 9 wins. I knew they were going to be a solid team. So I've never overlooked Mizzou. Vanderbilt, I was wrong. I was just wrong. I don't know if but you still got Kentucky down there. You've got Arkansas down there. Will Sam Pittman even be their head coach come tomorrow?
It's a great question.
We're gonna find out, right?
Great question.
So, and even a team like even Missouri coming into your building, like you should find a way to win that game. You still have the better roster than Vanderbilt, even though they're a very well coached team and all that kind of stuff. You should find a way to win that game. So, like, nothing that I've seen has made me think Auburn still can't go 8-4. And I said before the season that 8-4, I would be okay with it. Now, again, there's that discussion of how come it's always something in these kind of big games. So
yep.
What I'm looking at now, Nick, is okay. I use the analogy a lot of like if it's a scale, right? Like, which way is it tipping? If you're putting a bunch of eggs in one basket, okay, and it's one way as far as if one side is how many games has Hugh Freeze coached Auburn up, and it helped them help the roster get across the finish line versus the other. It's heavily tilted in one way. You have just example after example of football games that you've walked away from saying, man, Auburn could have won that game.
Exactly.
Now look, you're going to have those games in the SEC. Okay? You're going to have those games. So the fact that some of those exist, it is what it is. But they're all starting to pile up on. We got to. Some of them got to turn into wins. So, again, not hitting the panic button. This is not hot seat. Blah 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 blah. I'm just like we're noticing a trend here in year 3. It's the first loss of the season. So, but this next stretch is really important, man. Hugh has got to find a win in some of these games. I mean, look, dude, if you can go on the road and beat A&M, then you're 4-1 going into the bye week with Georgia coming in a night game where you're retiring Cam Newton's jersey and all that kind of stuff. I like where you sit. And there's a lot of things that I saw in the game yesterday that make me feel like this Auburn team, this year's team, still has tons of potential to win some big games. So, there's the obvious, dude. There's 10 sacks. There's 13 penalties. And I am very comfortable saying this because it's been awful for 3 years, going for 2.5 years now. Whatever this coaching staff is doing on special teams has to change. Whatever it is has to change. Okay? Malcolm catching a punt over his shoulder, putting us in bad field position, makes no sense. He's already muffed a punt, if you remember, earlier in the year, but when it bounced over his head and he tried to grab it and all that kind of stuff. Did you, I understand Rayshawn Pleasant, having him try to run the kick out. I don't have any problem with that, but I knew I would have bet money. I would have bet money a holding penalty was coming right there.
It did.
Whatever in the world that punt was, whatever in the world that snap was, I mean, this special and then this, I felt like we were going to win the game for a large portion of that game. I said, if the officials, and if you're somebody screaming about the officials in the comment, don't you worry, I'm going to get it. Okay, don't you worry. It's coming. I'm going to get all of what Auburn did to beat Auburn yesterday out the way first. Because I'm not really giving a whole lot of credit to Oklahoma, and I just don't care. Look, you got a good defensive line. You got a great defense, really, with a great defensive-minded head coach, and props to you for that. But the Heisman hype for the quarterback and all that, he's a good player. He's got a dog mentality in him. I'm not saying he sucks, but there was that narrative all week that Auburn didn't stand a chance. I had 45-3 in my comments, 31-13, all this kind of stuff. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. The refs gave you 14 points. Like I said, though, we'll get into that. And then I think back to another special teams gaffe that happened earlier in the year. You had your long snapper running into a punt returner for kick catch interference. First time I've ever seen something like that. There's been so many special teams blunders, and it's not just this year. Go back to the Iron Bowl or Hugh Freeze's first year. You put the wrong guy out there on punt return. You muff the punt. There's just the debacle that was Towns Magoo last year. It's just been, and guess what? You went and got Connor Gibbs because he was supposed to be the, hey, if McPherson can't go, and hey, if Magoo doesn't work out. Look, from here on out, you asked Alex McPherson before the game, how far can you kick from today?
Exactly.
If he tells you 43 yards, then you don't attempt nothing beyond what he can't do.
Exactly.
I don't ever want to see Towns McGoo and Gibbs. I'm out on you too after one kick, brother, because you weren't remotely close.
Nowhere near.
And I'm sick of seeing it.
Nowhere near close.
And that was the part I was like, oh man, here we are. When we miss Cam Coleman wide open in the end zone,
God,
and then okay, I'm back up a little bit further. Jeremiah Cobb bust off a huge run.
Yes.
And then you go 3 straight passes. You get a pre-snap penalty involved in that backs you up 5 more yards. And then this part isn't Hugh's fault. Great play call. Cam Coleman's wide open. You're not able to connect there. And you ultimately shank the field goal. And that's when I thought Auburn was going to win up until that point. And that's when I was like, oh, this little bit different script for the first part of the movie. But it ends the same. It ends the same. And but it ends the same. It all ends the same. It's a tragic ending that leaves me staring at my TV befuddled. So yeah, dude, just really frustrating. So from the Auburn standpoint, because I'm not a blame the ref guy, I get on the refs for their bad calls. But I'm not the guy that like really blames the refs too much. Every now and then in an SEC basketball game, you'll have to.
Mm-hmm.
And there'll be those times when it's like 37 fouls to 14. What happened here? But you know, they play 30-something games, so every now and then you'll have one of those. But like in football, especially, man, you can pull up clips of me going off on bad officiating, but I don't ever like really put a whole lot of blame on officials, because I've said earlier in this year, I said, hey, Auburn's getting bad calls, but I watch every SEC football game I can. And these guys are just incompetent. It's just 3 blind mice out there running around with no clue as to what the rules are half the time. I watched South Carolina Mizzou last night, and I was like, golly, this is ridiculous. So like, I stand by that, but the calls in this game, and I've seen some Oklahoma fans saying Oklahoma had more penalty yards. Okay. That has nothing to do with the fumble. That has nothing to do with the turnover or what was called an incomplete pass and making it complete in the drive where you ultimately went down and scoring. And then if you want to just look at the box score part of the penalties, they still called 4 more on Auburn. Now, a lot of those were look, a false start's a false start.
Yeah, procedural penalties. Yeah.
But there was one they call a defensive holding on Auburn when I'm watching K'Ron Crawford get choked out as he murders the left tackle, and I'm just like, so what are you watching? And then not to mention, look, I thought Cam Coleman ate, because look, he only had 3 catches for 80-something yards with the tutty, and I actually think that one he shouldn't have stopped on the first like overthrow from Jackson. He should have kept, there was a little hesitation there. Otherwise, I think he scores. I don't think that one was on Jackson. The second one I do put on Jackson, but like, yeah, he only had 3 catches, but he beat his guy all day. They didn't give him the flags. Like and ultimately they gave him one, and Auburn went down there and scored. But like, he played great. So sometimes stats don't tell the whole story as far as his game went.
Mm-hmm.
He cooked. And they had to pass interference him like 4 times to stop him from catching the football. So I thought Cam balled out. Nick, I'm about to go into this official thing. I'm going to get into some comments and really talk about the officiating and the game-changing calls they made. Is there anything else before we get into that, like just on the football side of things that you want to address?
You hit everything there on the head. You basically hit the nail on the head about everything there. There's everything I was going to say, you said. You know what I'm saying? I literally, there's no need for me to add anything to it, because everything you said I was going to say. But we're good to go.
All right, let's get to some of these comments, man. Got a good crowd in here. Y'all do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button. If you haven't subbed to the channel, we're 2 away from like the next 100-yard or 100 marker. So
okay.
Go ahead. Yeah, so I'm sure there's 2 people right now that aren't subbed. Get us to 2,300 subscriptions. Go ahead and sub. Share it out on social media, man. Tag Nick, tag me, all that good stuff. Shout out $50 super chat from my guy Fire Freeze. Can I get it pulled up though? That is the question.
Shout out to Fire Freeze.
I see you. Here we are. Same issues as last year. Not great in the red zone. Play calling that doesn't help out the O-line and the QB. 10 sacks because most pass plays are slow developing. Excuse, I called running plays RPO, but the quarterback chose to pass most of the time. Hey, buddy, thank you for the $50 super chat. And
can I say something right there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Say something right there. Let me say something right there. Hugh Freeze, don't start this. Don't start this blame game this time. Don't start the blame game right now, Hugh Freeze. Let's not do this. The last part of that statement, excuse of I called running plays RPO, but the quarterback chose to pass most of the time. Let's not do this, Hugh Freeze. That's all I'm gonna say on that. We don't need we don't need this right now. Just because it was a loss, you don't want to take blame for it. Take the blame for it this time, Hugh Freeze. Take the blame for it because there's some things that you could have done in this game that could have helped us win this. That could have helped Auburn win this game. There's other things you could have done. Now, I will give you the fact that there was an overturned touchdown. That 7 points should have been on the board for Auburn in this game. I will give you that. But let's not sit here and act like there were other things you could have done in this game where Auburn could have blown these guys out and this wouldn't have been this close in the fourth quarter. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't do that, Hugh Freeze. Let's not do that. That's all I'm gonna say on that, Hugh Freeze, because we tired of hearing that. We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that, Hugh Freeze. This your guy. This the guy. This the guy you went out and got.
Yep.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Hugh Freeze.
Look, you're going to have some losses like this. I can think back to some really devastating losses in the Tommy Tuberville era, but I can also think of some like incredible wins in the Tommy Tuberville era. So we're getting at the point with Hugh where we got to get to some of them incredible wins.
Yep.
That's where we're at. There's too much stacked up on the other side here. So, if you're just now tapping in, the first 16, 17 minutes of this show, I have put the responsibility on Auburn. I thought, again, it's just another game where you leave, where you feel like, man, Auburn sure could have won that. Yep. And I'm waiting for the moment where Auburn leaves one of those games, one of those toss-up big-time games, and Auburn did win it. Auburn did go take it. Despite all the crap, you took a 17-16 lead with 7 minutes to go.
Mm-hmm.
So, despite all that, you had your opportunity. And even when you went down, you still got the ball with 4-something minutes and then moved the ball at times on OU. Like, you definitely – I was like, okay, if we can pass protect here, then we should be able to get open because Cam's been open and Eric's had another solid day and Malcolm's had a couple of plays. And then ultimately it all just fell apart. So it was just another moment where in a big game, in a clutch situation, where the other team took it from Auburn.
Made the plays. And
Auburn didn't.
And
so at some point.
That's it.
At some point.
Yep.
Regardless of all of the this and that and this and that you can do in every game, it falls back on the head coach.
Yep.
It just does. Look at Florida. Boy, Florida loses a close football game every week.
Every week.
And
it's so funny with Florida because when you look at the final score of the game, you'd be like, oh man, Florida got blown out. But if you watch the game, you'd be like, wait a minute. Florida could have won that game. Only if they would have got some offense somewhere.
They had the ball. They were down 13-7 in the third quarter.
Yes.
And a Florida fan tweeted out, he said, Florida is down 13-7 in the third quarter, and we will lose this game 26-7.
And they lost the game.
And I was like, dog, that's when you know. That's when you know it's up, brother. That's when you know it's up.
And they lost the game that Pacific scored.
So, in these next – look, Ahmad Hardy, remember when he was projected to go to Auburn? That. Woo. Woo. Okay, he's a beast. So Missouri's no joke. So when you look at going to A&M, Georgia coming in there, and Missouri coming in there, man, you got to get some of these, bud. These we can't be like 3-3 with Missouri coming in there with 3 straight close losses. It's just the narrative's going to build, and at some point you've got to get the team.
You got to
over the hump. So Fire Freeze again, dude. $50 super chat. Shout out to you. Appreciate you for that. I don't really expect super chats or too many free memberships given away after losses. So normally it's usually a somber mood. So man, really, really appreciate this, buddy. It helps the show out a lot. And I'm with you. We're not making excuses. Going to call it what it is. It's just another game where I'm like, man, Auburn's defense played, and this goes back 3 head coaches now for the Jeff Smetting year. doesn't count because that was the worst Auburn defense I've seen in a long time. That dude.
You just said forget it. You just said forget it.
Yeah, but the other ones, dude. But the other ones, okay. There was a lot of Auburn's wasted a lot of good defensive performances over this last decade, and we did it yet again. Now, that is a positive that I will take away. Is I talked about this in the War Report post game yesterday. I said I can now pound the table and confidently say Auburn can shut down the run.
That part.
I don't care who Auburn plays. Auburn can shut down the run.
Yeah.
And Auburn's good enough in the secondary to where if you force a team into the situation where they have to pass, they're in trouble. Yeah. And I think this Auburn run defense is really good.
Yep.
I think the secondary had its best performance of the day yesterday. Yeah. And we kept saying, we said it last Sunday, I just don't think they're as bad as they've shown. I think they'll get it together somewhat. Mm-hmm. And hopefully yesterday was a step in that direction. And there's some things that you just can't help, like the bounce of the ball. And Auburn hasn't got the bounce of the ball what seems like for years. And Auburn gets the bounce of the ball yesterday. Well, they created a fumble with a good defensive play.
Yeah.
And then Kayan Lee scoops it up and scores it for a touchdown. And the officials rightfully let the play out on the field. You don't want to blow those dead.
Yeah, blow those dead.
And then we go to review. And one, I was a little shocked that we arrived at a review because I felt like, look, to be fair, I did not celebrate when the play happened. I said, hold on, was he down?
I did.
Then when they showed the replay, like right after, I was like, oh, okay, cool. We're good.
We're good.
We're good.
That's it.
There's nothing there. Clear as day catch, clear as day fumble, nothing. I didn't even think they were going to review it after they showed the initial replay. I was like, oh, sweet. Let's go, boys. They buzzed it down. And I was like, this is obvious. So like I was puzzled at a review. And then it went on for like 7 to 9 minutes or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
What's happening in Birmingham today? What's going on? What in the name of Birmingham, Alabama, y'all coming up with over there, dude? And sure enough, they take listen to me. Guys, this wasn't even close.
This wasn't even close.
This is as clear day as a catch and fumble, recover for Auburn for a touchdown as it can be. It's not even close. Pathetic. The fact that you even reviewed it, the fact that you watched that one time and said, we need to review this, is highly suspect. Well, and then the fact that you watched it 5-10 times and changed the call, there's no sense in it. I don't know what's going on, but maybe we're watching games in different universes or something. I don't know. But it's suspect, and the fix is either in or it's complete incompetency.
I think it's complete incompetency.
Yeah, I'm listening. I'll lean to 2. Okay. I think they're just completely incompetent. Yeah. Okay. And because look at the world of college football around you today. You've got Cal playing in the ACC. This whole sport is incompetent. And the officiating, is the worst part of it. And here's the part that pisses me off, Nick. Jackson Arnold had to go into Oklahoma with Oklahoma fans chanting F you Jackson, which made no sense. Like he didn't do there was nothing that even happened there to warrant that. Mm-hmm. All that stuff, all the media noise. He has an up and down game. Mm-hmm. He definitely like 10 sacks. Some of those are on him. He doesn't get the win. Mm-hmm. He has to sit at the post game and answer questions. He has to talk about what he did wrong and what he did right. He has to talk about the misthrow to Cam Coleman. Why do these guys, man, the officials need their name on the back of the jersey. I want to see their stats. I want to see them step to the podium. This protecting them shit from the 60s, I'm over it. I'm over it. That is an old, outdated, I don't want to hear that anymore, man. Protecting the officials. When you don't protect the 18 and 19-year-old kid. And I don't think you should. I think Jackson Arnold should have to step up to the podium as long as the questions are fair and in bounds. But you fundamentally changed the game week after week after week with this horse shit, man. It's ridiculous.
Let them cook. Let them cook. Let them cook.
And what? And this is what we get, guys. This is what we get. Let's pull this up. We get
Let them
this.
cook.
We get this late last night because this is going to make everybody feel better.
Let them cook. Let them cook.
In Saturday's Auburn versus Oklahoma football game, with 10:50 remaining in the second quarter, a pass was thrown to Oklahoma's number 5, resulting in a touchdown. Oklahoma number 5 participated in the previous play, which was a first down play from the 22-yard line. After the first down play was completed, Oklahoma's number 5 then continued towards his team's sideline, but stopped just before reaching the Oklahoma sideline. NCAA football rule G2, Article 2, is labeled, maybe that's a 9, is labeled unfair tactics with paragraph 8 stating, no simulated replacements or substitutions may be used to confuse opponents. No tactics associated with substitutes or the substitution process may be used to confuse opponents. This includes any hideout tactic with or without a substitution. The officiating crew did not properly interpret the action as a hidden tactic. If properly officiated, the second down play should have resulted in a team unsportsmanlike conduct penalty of 15 yards assessed from the previous spot. Appropriate accountability, whatever the hell that is, will be applied without additional comment. Oh, well, thank you. We screwed up. We screwed up. Our bad, Auburn. Our bad, Hugh Freeze. Hot seat discussions will start to surface around your name. Our bad, we screwed your team out of a game. So let's replay it here. And again, that Auburn loses by 7. An obvious, not even debatable, defensive touchdown for no reason at all, taken off the board. And then you have to issue a public statement and say, our officials messed up here.
Yeah, Dustin. Yeah. You hit that one on the head. You hit that one on the head again, Dustin. Let me cook a little bit. So let's talk about this, Dustin. When you go back to the play, right? Let's look at the play. All right. And shout out to Ted because I'm gonna reference Auburn Tigers in this one as well too. When you look at that play, man, Jarquez Robinson made the tackle on that play, right? If I'm correct, Jarquez Robinson was actually holding the ball the whole time for the receiver while he was going out to the ground. The ball was moving before he even hit the ground. And guess who was holding the ball? Jarquez Robinson. If you look at the play, it's a fumble. Canley picks it up, runs it back for a touchdown. Now let's jump forward in the game. Let's jump forward in the game. There was a pass play for Oklahoma where the receiver caught the ball, took a step, made a football move, took a step, fumbled the ball out of bounds, and they called it a completed pass. So if you're going to say that play was a completed pass, but then say that the play that Auburn forced a fumble, picked it up, ran it back for a touchdown, and tell us that was an incomplete pass, you owe Auburn 7 points. You owe Auburn 7 points. That's what you owe Auburn. You literally owe them 7 points. If you go back and look at the play, you owe Auburn 7 points. It was on the last drive that Oklahoma had when they went down and scored the touchdown to go up 22-17 or something to that nature. On that drive, Sylvester Smith came in. The dude caught the ball. Sylvester Smith came in, knocked the ball away, and the referee said incomplete pass. They went back, reviewed it, and they called it a completed pass. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, all right, if that's a completed pass, if you're saying that's a completed pass, go look back at the play that you just overturned early in the game. You owe Auburn 7 points because Auburn scored on it. So my thing is this, man. Be consistent across the board with what you're going to do. I agree with you, Dustin. You got to be consistent across the board with what you're going to do. But for some reason, these officials can't do that for some reason. And I don't know what it is. And just like that whole statement that they just gave, that's just like the doctor telling me I forgot to take something out after I've sewn you up and we already completed the surgery. I don't understand it. I don't know what was the last part of that statement? A proper, what was it? Proper
appropriate accountability will be applied without
what does that mean?
Additional comment.
What does that mean? What does that mean? So what, you gonna give us some calls in the Texas A&M game that'll give us a chance to win the game? Is that what that mean? Does that what that mean? Like, I don't know. Like, you literally are messing with the output and the potential of teams having an opportunity to get to where they're trying to get to at the end of the season. That's what you're doing. That's what you did in this game. And that play right there, and I said it during my live stream. I said, Those two plays, the illegal formation play and that overturned touchdown, if those were the reason that Oklahoma won that game, Auburn has a legitimate gripe. And at the end of the day, it was a 7-point game. Those were the game. Those were the plays that made the outcome of this game what it was. Just to be real. And we can talk about all of the missed opportunities that Auburn had to score more touchdowns. We talk about the missed touchdown to Cam Coleman. We talk about all of that. We talk about all that. We can also talk about the fact that Jackson Arnold had 2 interceptions that were dropped as well in this game as well. We can talk about that as well too. I'm not discounting that. It was other bad calls across. It was other bad calls in this game as well, and other missed opportunities on both sides for both teams. But when we look at the totality of the game, when you look at the two plays in this game that actually made the difference in the game, it was those two. One was a legitimate touchdown, and one was an illegitimate touchdown based on what the officiating just told us. So all you Oklahoma fans that's telling us we crazy for what I saw, and then the officiating crew coming out confirming what we've been knowing the whole time, shut the hell up. Shut up. Because they just told you what's up. And that's the part, man. I'm talking about, man, like you wanna go into all this other stuff, man. Yeah, it was bad calls, and it's bad calls across the whole game, across the game for both teams. It is. Missed calls all around. It's gonna happen in every football game. But those two plays fundamentally changed the outcome of the game.
And they were egregious.
Fundamentally changed the outcome of the game.
They were egregious calls. That's the point. It's like, look, there are times when it's even like, okay, well, that's a judgment call. You know, like I could see. No, these weren't that. These weren't that. It was obvious. Look, and Ed Darby does bring a good point up here. He says all scoring plays are reviewed. So when I said I don't even know why they were reviewing it, yeah, you are. Yeah, so good point there. They do review every scoring play. So I'll amend what I said there, Ed. I don't know why it took that long to review it and then come up with the wrong call. Like, yeah. I mean, it should have been as quick of a review as every other scoring play. That is just a normal touchdown. There was nothing special about that particular play. It wasn't that close. It was an obvious catch, an obvious fumble. And this is the thing that we've got to figure out in football. From college to the NFL, what is a catch? What is possession? No one has any idea anymore. Every game I watch, there's a different interpretation. The frustrating part, Nick, is when are we going to come out on the other side of one of these reviews?
That's a good part. That's a good point.
Like when are we going to come out on the other side of one of these?
I sit here and I watch this. This is the thing. A lot of people talk about coaching when it comes to a lot of these coaches and stuff like this. And this is why sometimes I have a gripe when we talk about Georgia a lot. Kirby's a good coach. Don't get me twisted. I know this may go off a little bit. Kirby's a great coach. But when you look at that Tennessee and that Georgia game last week, that was luck. A guy missed the field goal. And before the field goal, guess what? It was a penalty that moved it back 5 yards and made the field goal even harder. Sometimes the ball just has to bounce in your favor, just like you said earlier. And the majority of the time, most of those teams just get the ball to bounce in their favor most of the time. And to your point, when is that going to happen for Auburn, man? That's the question. When are we going to get the ball to bounce in our favor to where we actually have the opportunity to come out and be like, we're victorious? When is it going to happen for us? Will it happen this week? Hopefully. Will it happen against Georgia? Hopefully. Will it happen the rest of the season? I hope so. But, man, it need to start happening now, man, because I'm telling you, man, I am tired of sitting here having these subpar seasons every year talking about how good the rosters is and how we should have been where we was at. But then guess what? We end up looking at the season and being like, man, gotta wait till next year.
I thought that not going off on the officiating was probably the wrong move in the post game. You said I don't want to say too much, and it ain't my money, so who am I? who am I to say something like that? It ain't my bank account. But Hugh, you should have went off, bud. We wouldn't have been mad at you.
No,
I think Auburn may have chipped in with that fine. Because who cares? Who cares if the SEC gets mad at a head coach? I mean, man, Hugh's out there fighting for his life. And a lot of that is his own doing. Okay. I acknowledge that. But like, man, And then, like, you didn't see us screaming for timeout. You didn't see every coach on the sideline yelling at you, timeout. We didn't hear you. Okay. We're going to get to some comments here, and then we're going to get to the – yeah, we didn't hear you. Okay. All right.
What you talking to your wife, your girl? That what you said? What is
crazy?
My bad. I ain't hear you. My bad. My bad.
It's just nuts. Let's get to some of these comments, man, and then we got a player of the game I want to get to. JB1 Collie says, hopefully this game makes them look at themselves and make the right changes to win out like the 2013 team. Yeah, definitely going to talk about this later in the week. And remember what I said I went live Friday night, and I ended the Friday Night Live show by saying, if Auburn loses a one-possession game tomorrow in a rock fight, don't freak out.
So but you didn't expect them to lose. You didn't expect them to lose like this, though. Like that, like where there was a play that literally Auburn should have been.
No. I didn't expect the refs to. No, not at all. Not at all. No,
that's a difference. That's a difference.
Sure. No, you can definitely freak out about the officiating, and we have been, and I'm going to continue here in just a moment. But there's still everything ahead of this team. So yeah, like you said, JB, they got to lock in. If I'm Hugh, the way I'm coaching the team this week is like we need to be really pissed off. I'm putting up that stupid ass apology on Monday and saying, "Hey, look, boys, it is what it is. We played our asses off. We got screwed. Obviously, we have things to correct. You know, that's goes without saying. But like, we got to lock in and win one of these football games. You go on the road next week and you beat A&M, which I think is super, super doable. Mm-hmm. If you do that and you're 4-1 going into the bye, okay, because we all would have accepted that if offered to us before the season. Any sensible Auburn fan would have anyway. And so there's still a lot of football. There's still a lot of big games ahead of us. I think that this Auburn team showed yesterday. Look, if Oklahoma's as good as everybody says they are, no one really gave Auburn a chance all week. It was the national narrative was just, hey, go Oklahoma in the points, man. They gonna do it. I think Auburn showed that they belonged on the field.
They did.
And look, it's not. I'm not a moral victory guy. Longtime listeners know that. I'm just saying when you project forward, like there's still a lot of opportunities for this football team where if they get some of these mistakes corrected, you're gonna be okay. And here's the thing. You're not turning the football over this year. There was an obvious emphasis on that, and you've done a lot better job at that. So maybe tone back on the double-digit penalties every damn game. Like don't invent a new way to shoot yourself in the foot.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. Come on now.
You try to find a way to lose. Let's stop doing that. Let's stop doing
Huggy says, I keep saying it. Teams are on their coaching habits, personalities for years. AU has had no discipline, no killer instinct. It is what it is. Again, I'm not disagreeing with you. And we had a very important month coming up for Hugh Freeze here. These cannot continue. We can't keep having these conversations of should have won. Oh man, this didn't quite go our way. I mean, at some point you just got to pull it out. This game should be called a draw. Both teams should be 3-0-1. Hey, here's what I hope. I hope that the pollsters, and I hope that if we get into this situation where it matters, I hope that the playoff committee looks at this game for what it was and takes that into account. Auburn better not drop out the top 25 for this. If they do, that's a joke. And we'll see how it goes. But yeah, in this day and age in college football, one loss doesn't sink you.
No,
you went on the road in what I think is the most difficult defense you're going to face all season. I don't think Auburn's going to face another. You still play some good ones for sure, but I don't think Auburn's going to play a defensive front like what Oklahoma has. Oklahoma's got some dogs up front. They've got some dogs. They've got several NFL players. I was watching it and I was like, well, that's an NFL guy.
Yep.
Lord, he looks like an NFL guy.
Yep.
They got some guys down there, and obviously they wreaked havoc on us. So, I think you performed. I think you showed that you can perform against anybody in any kind of situation. Yep. But again, We can't keep having that conversation. Like, I remember the year before Scott Frost got fired at Nebraska, they had lost like 8 or 9 one-possession games the year before.
Mm-hmm.
And their whole thing was, we're going to turn that around this next year, and we're going to be good. And then they got into that next season, and they were like 1-4, 1-5 or something, and all their losses were by one possession. And it was just like, no, it's not. This is what it is. You know, can get you there, but can't get you over. We're approaching that territory, and you know, but hey, a win over Georgia at home, boy, that'll make. I got bad news for the Oklahoma fans that try to create this to be a rivalry this week. We beat Georgia, and that's a big if, okay, because they're our daddy right now. But if we beat Georgia, then Auburn fans won't give too much a piss about this game here, and that's just the way it works. So you still got it. We'll look back on it frustratingly, but look, man, you still got plenty of big opportunities on the schedule. Got to go in there and make something happen. Fire Free says we have the Jimmies and the Joes, plenty of X's. Where are the O's? Hey, these questions, these we all said that all summer. This is the year we're gonna find out. And okay. I'm watching, Nick. I'm watching. You know? This
is the thing. I asked this question from after the Baylor game. I asked a question about the drop back passing game. And every time I ask the question, I always ask 3 things. I said, is it the quarterback holding the ball too long? Is it the offensive line, or is it the play design? And when I say play design, I always ask the question, is it the fact that the routes that Hugh Freeze is drawing up on this offense, are they long developing and the quarterback is having to hold the ball too long, which is making the offense having to hold on to their blocks extra longer, which is making it look bad? It is the question that I was trying to get to, and I'm still trying to find an answer to that question. I feel like I know the answer, but I'm trying to see what other people think. I'm trying to see what other people think. And this is the reason why I said after the Ball State game, I was like, Auburn is a RPO. Auburn is an RPO team. That's what Auburn is. And the thing about it is, when it comes to Jackson Arnold, when it gets to the fact where he has to sit back in the pocket and think for a long period of time, that's when you start having problems. Mm-hmm. Every time in the quick passing game out of the RPO, when it's just like that, you see it hit on time, on budget, in stride, guys making moves, Eric Singleton making guys miss, getting extra yards after the catch, Horatio Fields catching it on possession and things and stuff like that. Let's hone in on that. And then take our shots down the field with Cam Coleman. And hopefully we can get Perry Thompson over there as well, too, to start getting him to take some shots downfield, so we can actually have 2 deep threats in this on this offensive side of the ball, potentially. But if that's going to be the identity of what Auburn is, if we're going to be an RPO team, find what we do best in the RPO, because apparently we can run the ball some. We can run the ball some, even though we only had 67 rushing yards yesterday. But in the moments when Auburn had to get first downs, when Auburn had to run the ball, especially on that drive when they went down and scored, and you kind of saw Hugh Freeze kind of take his foot off the gas, and they started huddling up, and they come up to the line, and Jeremiah Cobb busts that long 41-yard run on that drive. I'm looking at like, all right, man, Auburn should be able to run the ball at will when they want to. They should be able to. I mean, you may have to get a lot of cracks at it to get to it, but you can't. At some point in time, it's gonna break and things and stuff like that. But if we're gonna be an RPO team, man, find the best way to throw the ball out of the RPO to where it is favorable to your quarterback and to where you can get the ball in Cam Coleman's hands.
There was a play, Nick. It was on first down where I was screaming. I'm sure my neighbors heard me, because the 3 previous plays, they were playing 12 yards off of Malcolm. And I was just screaming, snap the ball and throw it to 4. And eventually we did it. We did it like it was there for like 3 or 4 plays in a row. And then we did it, and it set us up for like 2nd and 1. We got like 9 yards out. You remember the play I'm talking about?
Yes.
So there was a lot of those that were there.
Yes.
There was a lot of those that were there. And it's like, hey man, it doesn't have to be 25 yards down the field, bro. It doesn't. Like, you can take those right there. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. There's got to be some more quick game. I mean, we heard about this offensive line struggling in pass protection during fall camp.
Yes.
We saw them struggle versus Ball State, and we saw whatever the hell that was yesterday.
Yes.
So like we there definitely needs to be some kind of adjustments made on that front. Jeff Tink says, we got hosed, Dustin. Was glad to hear you go off on the War Report last night. Gets old listening to people say you can't blame the refs. The F I can't. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. This is one thing I've noticed since I've been doing the podcasting thing, man. A lot of people get into this one or the other. It's black or it's white. It's this or it's that. When in reality, that's just not life. Like, things are a lot more intricate, and there's a lot of things that go into stuff.
It's a lot of gray area.
Yeah, there's a lot of gray, and there's just a lot of gray in this. Yes, Auburn did shoot themselves in the foot. Yes, it is yet another god-awful, atrocious, F- special teams performance. And I've been saying for 3 freaking weeks, if you don't clean up the special teams, it'll cost you in your first SEC game that's close. And that's exactly that. It happened because you can see it coming from a mile away. It's been bad outside of Alex McPherson all year. Special teams has been bad. It's been something in every game. Hell, we lined up an illegal formation on a punt 3 times in one game. Crazy. Pre-snap penalties from the offensive line. Like, all of this stuff can be true.
Yes.
And you lost the game by 7 points when the officials cost you 14. All of that can be true because it is. Because it is. That's the reality. So I can be mad and call out Auburn's crap. I can be mad and call out the Java stuff. I can be mad and say what Auburn didn't do correctly. And I can still be mad at the refs. It's not one or the other. It's all in the same.
Yes. Very true. Very true.
Because if the refs don't screw Auburn, what conversation are we having? Man, Auburn committed these penalties and all this stuff and got sacked a bunch of times and still found a way to win. Aren't they resilient? That's the conversation you're having if the refs make the right call. If Auburn does everything the same way that Auburn did it, change nothing that Auburn did, and if the refs do their job correctly, then Auburn is 4-0.
Exactly.
So to ignore it would be disingenuous. To ignore it would be just it's tacky to blame the refs. It's tacky to blame the refs all the time. And if you're an Oklahoma fan, you're probably watching me for the first time, whatever. But you can go back if you really care that much and pull up receipts. This isn't something I do. But guess what? And I got some more comments that I want to get to here, but I got to give it out now. Shout out, Nick, player of the game. Shout out to our players of the game. The officials, and if you're listening on audio, you come over here to YouTube and check it out. My guy getting carted off the field by the Sooners after his standout performance. The refs in the replay booth really stepped up in this one for the Sooners in a big way. I thought this was a very evenly matched game. I thought both teams were kind of like, if they played 10 times, you're going to get a bunch of different results kind of thing. And that being the case, I thought that the game changers here, the guys that really, really made the crucial plays that flipped the game for their team, were the referees and the replay booth. So shout out to those guys. Congratulations on making 14 points. 14-point swing, you guys. And here's the cool thing. You called 9 penalties on Oklahoma. You called 13 penalties on Auburn. You know what? Everybody tuned in. Everyone tuned in to watch you guys. That's what, I turned on the TV at 2:30. I said, I want to see a ref show, baby. Baby, pop some popcorn. I like kettle corn. Go get some Reese's Pieces because the ref show's on. Ref show. Ridiculous. So congratulations to our players of the game. Yeah. Come on down. Good job, guys. Photo credit for the meme to my guy, Pat Dies Flask. And peace. Pass me the flask. I hope whatever's in there is really hard because I need it, brother. Good Lord.
That was a good one, man. What would have made it better if y'all would have made if you would have made the black stripes maroon or crimson stripes? That would have been great. That would have been great.
Oh, there's plenty of those going around. My dad has sent me some great texts from the Facebook land. You know, he's older. He's over there on Facebook, but they're going around over there as well. Let's get to some more of these starred comments before we get out of here, man. Ant says that catch wasn't a catch. The fumble was a TD. The call, the no calls on the PI. How can you blame Hugh Freeze or Jackson for those? They took 14 to 21 points from us and gave them 14. Yeah, again, this is the thing. This is probably the first time I've ever talked about the refs this much. Again, I've complained about them before, but like they fundamentally they screwed us. And it just is what it
changed
is.
The game.
Yeah, I mean, and how many times did the SEC come out and issue a public apology? Like they know they messed up bad.
That part.
And it cost us. So yeah, I'm with you, Ant. It's very frustrating. And
I'm gonna keep banging the table on that one. Fundamentally change the game. 2 plays in this game fundamentally changed the outcome of this game. Because as Dustin just stated earlier, everywhere else in this game, it was evenly matched. Everywhere else, it was an evenly matched game. And you saw that. But 2 plays, and we all know those 2 plays fundamentally changed the game. And you see it in the score. 1 touchdown was taken off the board and 1 stayed on the board. That's it.
Yeah, frustrating for sure. Lindsay says definitely still in this graphic. Hey man,
yeah,
look,
that's great.
I just it is. I don't know. It is what it is. It is like you want me to act like my eyes don't work. They're fine. You want me to act like my ears don't work. They're fine. You want me to act like my brain don't work. Like I can't comprehend what I'm looking at. I know what I'm looking at here. We got screwed.
That's exactly what happened.
It is what it is, bro.
It's worse than Tuscaloosa, man. Yeah, worse than Tuscaloosa.
It's just so, Cody says, y'all act like they didn't miss bad calls. I'm sure they did. Let me say something again. There is nothing quite like SEC officiating. Football and basketball, you won't see nothing like it. It's out of this world bad. Guess what, Cody? There's going to be all kind of bad calls that go against the Sooners this year. Y'all going to get screwed a couple times. For sure. Welcome to the SEC, buddy. I don't know what the Big 12 refs were like, but I can tell you they suck ass over here. Okay? But guess what? The ones yesterday took points off the board.
They did.
Point. Yeah. That was a fumble, buddy. Like Oklahoma fumbled, Auburn picked it up and scored a touchdown. Somebody that was not a football player decided that a football thing that happened on the field had to be changed. Okay? Do I need to pull up the goofy statement again?
That's the point. That's the point they missing. Like, that's the point they missing.
Yes, they missed. Yes, there was bad calls against Oklahoma. Yes, 100%.
We said that earlier.
Yes,
we said there were bad calls against both teams. But those 2 plays fundamentally changed the outcome of this game. That's the truth. We said earlier that it was bad calls on both sides. We said that. And it was an evenly matched game. But we gonna keep saying it. Those 2 plays fundamentally changed the game, and we gonna stand on it. We gonna stand on it.
Yeah, because it is what it is. SEC season says I've never seen a public apology the same night. Like
shout out to Tiz. Shout out to Tiz.
Tiz. Shout out. But this is like it's like when you get in an argument with your girl and you storm out the house and you get down the road and you realize you were in the wrong.
Exactly.
And you end up coming back with ice cream for her, or maybe like a pumpkin spice latte, and you're like, "Hey, baby, look,
some food."
I messed up. Okay, I was in the wrong. I know this isn't going to change the really messed up thing I said to you. I know this isn't going to change that I screamed in your face and ruined your day. But hey, I hope this at least makes you feel better, and I'll try not to do it again. That's what it feels like. Well, guess what, SEC officiating office? I don't want the cup of coffee.
We don't even do that.
We don't want it, bro.
Well, we don't even do that. We just be like, "You hungry?" That's all we just say. You hungry? That's it. I'll say you hungry? What's up? What's up, man? I know that
all because you're complaining and making excuses. Nope. I don't know if comprehension skills are something that they do in Norman, Oklahoma. So you need to turn your ears up, Cody, and listen real right here, okay? Auburn made tons of mistakes. Auburn shot themselves in the foot, and we're in year 3 of Hugh Freeze, and we're starting to get worried about that. It's becoming a thing. Also, crucial calls that changed the game gave Oklahoma the game. 2 things can be true at once, but maybe that is a little bit too big of a concept for someone like you to understand. It probably is. So let's go ahead and wrap this one up. Nick, do you have any final thoughts before we get out of here, buddy?
Nah, man. I was looking in the chat, and I don't know if you saw, but Ed had one question that shout out to Mr. 21. Can you do something for man? Ed Darby. He said, Dustin Nick, is there a concern moving forward that defenses would dictate Auburn's offense because of the RPO?
I mean, yeah, Sure. I got to see more. I got to see more. Like, I think Oklahoma, again, I said that all week, Oklahoma's got the best defense. I thought that Auburn was going to play the rest of the year.
Agree.
And then their defensive front, I knew they were good. I knew it was going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I knew that they were going to be pretty successful in shutting down the run. I said all that.
Yep.
They were still better than I thought. And also, I think the defensive staff over there has seen some Jackson Arnold. So tendencies and stuff like little stuff like that. Let's I'm going to let a couple more games play out before I have a firm enough opinion on that. I mean, like, sure it could, right? Like, obviously that could definitely be a thing that happens and could be something that hurts Auburn. But I also think that Auburn is going to be able to line up on a lot of teams to run the ball down their throat. I don't think you can do it on Oklahoma, but I think there's still a lot of teams on the schedule Auburn will be able to do that against.
And run the ball. Yeah, I agree with you there. But here's the thing, though. I feel like what Auburn did last night without even trying to see if they can run the ball, because the first play of the game was a pass play. Second play of the game was, I believe, a run. And then, like, if I'm not mistaken, I believe out of the first 10 plays, I think like 6 of them were pass plays for Auburn last night. And I could be wrong on that stat, so don't quote me on that. But I feel like Auburn didn't even try to get into the RPO game last night, for real. From just looking at it, like, yeah, you saw, but they didn't even try to get into it, because in the RPO game, the passing game would have looked a lot more sharp and cleaner if, and I'm gonna keep saying this. If we are an RPO team, if Auburn is an RPO team moving forward, figure out a way to get the passing game in the RPO down solidly. Just figure that part out, because apparently we've seen the drop back game not be as efficient and as effective as we want it to be. So let's use the RPO. Let's use the threat of running the ball. Let's use that threat of running the ball and then kind of get the passing game going out of that. And then once that happens, then take the shots downfield with Cam Coleman. And I'm going to keep saying it, get Perry Thompson on the field as another option downfield as well. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, I feel like last night Auburn could have potentially had better rushing yards last night if they would have tried to run the ball a little bit more. And when OU went 3 safeties, they left the slot. That part.
That's what I talked about right there earlier.
Yeah. So when they go that 3 high safety look, you leave the slot uncovered, man. That should be the quarterback should see that, and that should be a quick read to the slot. Hey, 3 yards, look for the ball. 3 yards,
especially with the guys we got, Nick.
Exactly. 3 yards, look for the ball, make something happen. If they playing 10 yards off, you run off the line. You don't even have to run off 3. You can run off 1.5 yards, 2. Look for the ball, get 5. Make something happen, man. You athletic enough to make something happen. It's just, I just don't know. That's the part that I'm like, because that's still part of the passing game. It doesn't have to be the ball doesn't have to travel 30 yards down the field just for it to be an effective passing game. The ball can travel 3-4 yards. Tom Brady did it his whole career. The ball can literally travel 3, 4, 5 yards, and it can turn into a 20, 25 yard game. And that's still part of the passing game. And that's what we have. We have the athletes, to your point. We have those athletes on the outside that can do that. And get them the ball and let them and allow them to go out and make plays. Jackson Arnold, all Jackson Arnold have to do, and I mentioned this at the beginning of the season. All Jackson Arnold has to be is just a really good point guard. That's it. All he has to be is he just has to be Chris Paul, Rajon Rondo. That's it. We don't need you to be Magic Johnson out this thing trying to play center in game 6 of the NBA Finals. We don't need that. We just need you to get the ball to Perry Thompson, Eric Singleton, Cam Coleman. However you get the ball to Perry Thompson, Cam Coleman, Malcolm Simmons, all of them. Get it all up. That's all we need you to do. And let them cook. And guess what? When you let them cook, it's gonna make your numbers look better. But hey,
yeah, man. Hey, look, I like the reaction shows after a win a whole lot more than I like doing these. Hopefully we don't have to do too many more of these, but I'm going to end it all on a positive note. I still think this Auburn team has the chance to have a really good season.
I'm sticking with my team prediction.
And hey, baby, hey, I'm with you. I mean, I'm not with you on that, but I'm with you on sticking with it.
Sticking with it.
Yeah, I feel you for sticking with it. I still think this Auburn team can have a good season, sign a good recruiting class, and move the program forward. But this is a very, very important month. There were some positive takeaways from yesterday. I think if you watch this hour-long episode, I'm not a sunshine pumper, man. We'll call it like we see it here. I still think there are some positive takeaways. There are some ways where Auburn can move forward. Hey, look, dude, for the love of God, get the revolver away from your foot. Like you've blown it off. There's nothing left. Stop. Let the other team beat you. And if you continue to get that kind of officiating, then maybe just pull your team off the field or something. Because if we ever have to go through something like that again, then my TV might end up in the street or something.
Yeah. I agree with you there.
Unbelievable. Look, got a lot of content coming out this week. Sign up for the memberships, man. $3.99 a month for the JV squad, $5.99 for the varsity squad. Getting exclusive podcasts out every week, multiple podcasts out every week just for the members. Recruiting updates, any kind of intel that we're getting on that kind of stuff, we pop in and do it. And sometimes just pop in and do a members only live stream or anything pops off. The basketball team released the basketball jerseys last week. Popped in, did a quick live with the members. So, just talked about the jerseys. Hey, do we like these? So if you want more up-tempo podcasts, man, go ahead and sign up for those memberships today. If you are a long-time member, maybe give some of those out if you can and help grow the community. And if you are somebody who has just signed up, have multiple sign-ups this weekend, hop up in the game day group chat, man. It's a good time. And, that's all I got. So we're going to be back with plenty of content this week. What you got, brother?
What was the consistency on those jerseys?
It was mixed.
Okay, I was about to say. I just wanted
some people loved them and some people hated them.
Okay, I wanted to ask that.
And some people like certain colors and some people didn't like other colors. So it was kind of all over the place.
Okay.
It's kind of all over the place. I think we all agree we got to see them wear them out on the court before because you're just kind of getting that one little shot.
Yeah.
So, so we'll see what they look like on the court. Some people hated them. It was all over the place. Like the video, sub to the channel. Nick, what is going on this week at the Water Cooler Talk podcast?
Yeah, man. Water Cooler Talk Sports, man. We'll be here Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Call-in shows. Tomorrow we'll be reviewing this game, and then, of course, we'll be previewing Texas A&M all week. And then, of course, we'll be talking about some other big matchups in the SEC as well. Definitely we'll be talking about this Mississippi State-Tennessee game and, of course, Georgia and Alabama. We'll be previewing those games as well. Two of the bigger games in the SEC. Shout out to Mississippi State 4-0 right now. I got them winning 6 games and going to an SEC. I mean, and going to a bowl game. So I just need 2 more wins to win that bet. Tight. If you watching, you owe me 50. But I if they win, I ain't expecting. But it is what it is. Not 50, no 50 push-ups, not $50, just 50 push-ups. I just want to let me verify that, but I ain't expecting. But nah, man, we'll be here Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Previewing Auburn and of course other teams around the SEC, and then of course on Saturdays we go into the locker room and we do a live stream of the game, and we'll be doing it again this coming Saturday for Texas A&M Auburn as well. So yep.
I believe I'm saying this right, and y'all go tap in with Nick all week long. Call into the call-in show. That's a good time. Bro Boone says War Eagle liked and sub. Just found the channel, but this looks like a good fit. Yeah, buddy, appreciate you, man. People still find the channel for the first time. So if you are, go ahead and sub. If you're listening on audio, leave a 5-star review. Follow over there. Turn on your notifications. I went live Friday, and I made that decision in like 10 minutes. I was at the house. Because I'd actually planned on going and watching Jace Matthews, and shout out, I hope Jace Matthews, wishing Jace Matthews a speedy recovery. He's out for the year, so there wasn't really any games for me to go to last Friday. So I was at the house, and I just said, let's just go live and talk to the people. So turn on your notifications, and I know even sometimes still YouTube is bad about notifying people. So just stay locked in, man. Got a lot to talk about this week. We got a big game coming up. There's a lot of there's still just a lot of other stuff to talk about and unpack from this game itself. So stay locked in. Gonna try to have an episode popping out every single day this week around 9 a.m. in the morning, sometime in that, somewhere in that time frame. So stay locked in, stay on the lookout. Love you guys, appreciate y'all. And I'm gonna say it, Nick, I mean it. I think we're going on the road. I'm calling it now. We're going on the road to College Station. We're getting that W. I ain't giving up the team, man. It's War Damn Eagle. We'll see you on the next one.
War Eagle.